Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my parents always taught me it's not nice to brag when you make a major new purchase. But I went to the store this weekend and spent a lot of money on something, and I think the body should hear about it. You see, Mr. Speaker, I went to the gas station and filled up my truck. It cost $135. I decided the credit card in twice. For those of you who think that's a function of my truck's gas tank and not the price at the pump, I'd point out that it costs $75 or more to fill up a mid-size passenger car now. Mr. Speaker, I'm dreading the time I fill up my two 1,500-gallon diesel tanks for my operation as we go into planting and hay season this spring. Not to put too fine a point on it, but gas prices have gone insane. If you haven't gotten calls from your constituents about it yet, you will. Because no one, short of people who can afford and throw down tens of thousands for a Tesla and some other electric car, can sustain this kind of cost. It didn't have to be this way. It was entirely avoidable. Some of our friends across the aisle point to the Russian invasion of Ukraine as a reason for gas prices having spiked. There is some truth to that. The market was already tight, and taking Russian oil off the market made the situation even worse. But the biggest problem is entirely made in America. Gas prices spiked more than $1 per gallon from the time President Biden won the election until January. Why? Because President Biden and Democrats have made it clear that they don't want more gas and oil production in the U.S. Until recently, Northern America was energy independent. Working with Canada and Mexico, we had enough energy here to actually export oil. But then President Biden killed the Keystone Pipeline, which would have made it safer and easier to bring oil in from Canada. I don't know about you, Mr. Speaker, but I'd much rather buy oil from Canada than Russia, or even worse, from Iran or Venezuela. Democrats have suspended new oil and gas leases on federal lands. They've started regulations that would reduce investment in oil and gas companies. Said simply, they've signaled outright hostility to anything that would produce more oil and gas in the U.S., and gas is a very efficient fuel source. Virginia's past 2 years of legislative action hasn't helped. Many in this chamber support a complete moratorium on new fossil fuel infrastructure as part of the Green New Deal. Helping consumers by lowering the gas tax? My goodness, the reaction to this proposal has been telling. It's not hard to understand why Democrats have opposed more oil and gas development and lowering the gas tax, Mr. Speaker. Walk through our legislative parking garage and you'll see lots of electric vehicles plugged into the wall. My friends across the aisle want an all-electric future where gasoline is a thing of the past, where we all take trains or ride bikes or walk. I've said this before and it remains now true. Not everyone can afford to go out to Tyson's or West End and buy a Tesla. Some people need trucks, vans, and tractors to do their jobs. The kinds of jobs that put food on all of our tables and that keep our homes cool in the summer and warm in the winter. We can't use an electric city bus if we're hauling materials to a job site to replace a roof, even if that roof is within walking distance of the metro station. Gas prices like this might not impact a small percentage of people, Mr. Speaker, but they are brutal for working Virginia families. Putting gas in the car shouldn't be a major purchase, Mr. Speaker, and it didn't have to be. I hope and am hoping that President Biden and Democrats are listening. We must change course. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.